Welcome back, everyone. Today is gonna be a blast from the past. Judit Polgar versus Garry Kasparov. Judit, the Queen of Chess. A new show is about to come out, a documentary on Netflix, so check that out. This is Russia versus the best of the world tournament, the best players on the planet back in 2022. So let's start with this game. Judit has the white pieces, and we start with e4. Kasparov had been playing c5, the Sicilian, but in this situation, in this occasion, he's gonna play e5. Okay, now the game continues. We get knight to f3, knight c6, developing the knights, bishop to b5, and knight to b6, knight to f6. The two knights are out. This is the Berlin defense, an opening where the queens get traded early on. So it's kind of a questionable choice for Garry, who likes the aggressive choice, who likes tactics. This is more of a strategical maneuvering battle. But okay, he's still a well-rounded player. Castle, knight takes on e4, and after d4, knight goes back to d6, bishop takes on c6, d takes on c6, d takes on e5, the knight has to move, knight to f5, and now we try queens. King takes on d8. And now, how would you evaluate this position? Positionally, we can say that white is better. The knight is about to come out, bishop is about to come out. Now we can give a check here with the rook. Black has double pawns. They cannot castle the king anymore, so it should be winning for white. However, there is some theory, there is some ideas for black, interesting ideas. Black can still defend this position and even play for a win. So it's tricky, it's not that easy to play for either side. Okay, and we have different ideas for black in this position. So for example, knight c3. Here black can go for the idea of putting the bishop on d7 and maybe king to c8. Down the line, playing b6 and hiding the king on this square. Or if they feel like it, they can also play king to e8. So for example, we have ideas of knight to g5 hitting this pawn, so they will also be forced to play this. Okay, so to prevent this idea, black plays h6. We don't have this move anymore, but it's all good with white. Now there is the move order is very important in the next move for white. We can go for something like h3. This is very playable, but it allows bishop to d7 and now this idea, right? So if we go to rook to d1, king c8, the game will continue. So Judith didn't like this. It's like too comfortable to play for black. She gives a check first. Now this idea is not possible anymore, because a thematic idea in the Berlin is to play g4 at some point, kicking out the knight. In a lot of lines, the knight goes here, but this is not possible. So they will have to retreat the knight. Knight to e7. We can get e6, making space for the knight. F takes on e6. And yeah, this is completely losing for black. So let's go back to our line. Rook to d1 check. King e8 is played. h3. Now it's completely good. It's completely fine. Bishop to e7. The game continues. Knight to a2. And here the idea is simple. I didn't understand this idea, but if the bishop wants to come out to this square, we have this tempo. Knight to f4, hitting the bishop. So this was kind of the new move in this game. Okay, so knight to h4. This is a bit surprising. So here, if you're playing black, you want to wait for white to play g4. This is kind of questionable to do, for especially for Garry. But Judith is happy. Okay, let's just trade knights. So bishop takes on g4, bishop to e3, developing, everything is fine. Now we get bishop to e5, developing the bishop. And okay, this is where, in terms of tactics and strategy, it becomes very interesting. Knight goes to d4. defending the knight and hitting the bishop at the same time. Black has a critical decision in its position. Where do you put this bishop? Do you go here or do you go there? Best move, go here, bishop to d7, right? So if we play g4, g6, sorry, yeah, they can go g6, preventing the knight to land on this square. The game is fine for both sides, but they don't have many problems, right? Garry made this strategical mistake to put the bishop here, and it looks reasonable. It looks like a good diagonal. However, you cannot play g6 anymore, right? Avoiding the knight to come in here. So it's hard. It's definitely hard, and we're gonna see more problems with this bishop being here on this diagonal. Okay, we get g4. This is a common idea in this system anyway, and the idea is simple: just to put the knight here. Bishop goes to e7. They go back, and if we play something like this will hit the bishop, right, with tempo. So that's the retreat move. Okay, so we get the move king to g2. It's not a bad move. It's completely fine. You're improving your piece. However, the best move in the position, as we saw before, knight to f5. And after knight to f5, you're forcing the bishop to go back and defend this pawn. It's ugly, right? And let's say here, instead of retreating, bishop takes, we take back. In the evaluation of the computer, this is still winning for white. Okay, let's go here, do what happened in the game. King to g2, and now we get h5. You don't want to take the pawn, for example. That will be just a strategical mistake. Don't take it. Judit plays knight to f5, finally. Okay, so here they are forced to defend. Garry Kasparov is forced to defend the pawn. Imagine you are the boss of chess. You are the best of your game. You are at the top of your game. And now you have to make this ugly move. You are known for being a strategical attacking player, and you have to play this. So, okay, yeah, the game continues. King to f3, bishop to g6. Oh, okay, I also wanted to cover something. Sorry about this. So, after bishop to, no, here, after knight to f8, you might be wondering, why do we take this pawn? So, if they take this pawn, we can take back. They can get rid of the bishop. G takes on f5. Rook goes to h5, hitting the pawn. And now we can offer the trade of rooks. And they cannot take, because after this, we can give a check. Bishop has to retreat. And now this is completely losing for black. So yeah, they cannot go for this line. We get king to f3. And later, bishop to g6, which is it's not a good move. What are we doing with this bishop? Maybe, as I was pointing with this arrow, it's trying to open up the position, maybe open up for the rook. But the best try for black is to go here, f6. Here you can simplify the position, right? We have this continuation, and it's still holdable for black. It's not like it's winning for black or for white, but you can hold this game for black still. Okay, so bishop goes to g6. I don't know, rook to d2, and black doesn't have many moves. How do they improve their position? Let's say Judith was calculating this line. It's interesting to analyze it, because I think I don't want to discredit her, but she was calculating this line where she takes the rook, okay, and now she takes the pawn. Computer doesn't like it. After this, the idea is to play a4, a5, but we are now, it's a drawing territory, right? We are simplifying too much maybe, and we are fighting for not trapping this bishop. Instead, it's still winning. We can take this rook. After king takes, we bring the rook into the game, right? King to e8, bishop to g5, and now we're threatening to checkmate. They have to defend. It's not easy. Okay, so let's go here. So they took the pawn. They took this pawn here. We take back with white. Rook goes to h3, given a check. King g2. Rook goes to h7. And now king g3. So wait, wasn't the idea to double up the rooks here and just put pressure? Yeah, but if we play this, the bishop can take. G takes on f5, and now they can hit the pawn. This doesn't happen if we play first what Judit played. The best move in the position, king to g3. If this happens, so here, we are on time to defend the pawn, and everything is good. Okay, let's just go back. Finally, after king g3, finally we get f6. Okay, and now we have this powerful move. I draw a bunch of lines to remind myself of, we can put the rook here on e1, even threaten to take the pawn, and the king will be exposed. Okay, bishop takes on f5, simplifying the position. F takes on e5. We don't even have to move the bishop, just like Judith did. She put the rook here on e1. Bishop to d6. Bishop takes on e5. And here, yeah, this will be completely losing if they take. We take back. They have to move the king. This is losing. So it was still a good defense. The king has to get out of the pin. King to d7. Okay. c4. Yeah, c4, preparing for c5. They have to play this move, c5. I think even after this, something like b6, we can play b4, right? And we still get c5. And I was curious, wait. So this is what happened in the game, c5. b4 is still a good idea, right? Because if they take, we still trap the bishop. Of course, black has an extra tempo. They can get the king out of the pin. It's still winning. Okay, I just wanted to show you this move, c5. But the best move is just to trade. You trade bishops, and now you bring the other king around, hitting this pawn. It's completely winning for white. And after you get the two rooks into the 7 file, yeah, there's nothing stopping them. Okay, here. Okay, we get a check. The king has to move. Now it's in the center. You can keep giving checks with black, for example, but they will have also, they kind of have to defend in these two ranks. So it's not easy to play. Rook c6 check. And Judith was calculating, oh, if the king goes here, I just go back, I just go here to this square, hitting the pawn. Instead, this happened, king to b8, rook to d7, rook h2, threatening the pawn. We have an extra move here, rook to f8, hitting the other pawn, but rook to c7. Now we have double up the rooks, or the two rooks on the 7 rank is completely losing for black. Rook takes on f5. We give a check here. King has to move. Another check. King d8. We win the pawn. In the next move, we're threatening to checkmate, right? So the king has to move. So only move that continues the game. And in this move, Garry Kasparov resigned after 42 moves. Why? Because here we can take the pawn. For example, the king has to move again just to avoid the checkmate. And here we can even force the trade of rooks. If this happens, so if this doesn't happen, let's say they move something else, this is checkmate. So they will be forced to trade the rooks. Here. They're forced to trade the rooks. Rook takes on f7, and we have a full extra pawn. It's completely winning for white. And at this level, Judith will be able to convert the victory. Okay guys, please comment, like and subscribe. Check out my exclusive content for only $1. You join the channel and you can also see a lot of strategic positions, strategic ideas. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.